Hey everybody! Wow, this is the most impromptu video I've ever done in my entire life. You got me in shorts. I am at the backyard of my parents' 196-year-old house. There's a bird bath back there and this beautifully twisted tree over here that's actually, it's cherry. It's been there since my childhood. Oh, what an absolutely gloomy and dark and dismal day we have over here. This is beautiful because twilight is setting in, and I decided that I wanted to make a video that's completely off the cuff. You'll hear the cars in the background. I'll show you a little bit about the landscape a little bit later, where I am, because this is one of my favorite places to be. I've actually dreamt of doing this for years, actually almost two years since I started Gothically Yours. I just wanted to make an impromptu video where I talk about something, but this video was inspired by the Darkling jelly bean. And I'm going to tell you how this came about. The Darkling jelly bean, Goth sister, she left a comment on one of my videos, and then I went to her YouTube site and I scrolled down through her she had, looks like several hundred videos, and the very bottom of it, she had one particular video, and she goes, "A little bit about me." And I was so inspired. I'm like, you know what? That's what I want to do. I want to make a lovely, nonchalant, off-the-cuff, no holds bars, no scripted, no flashcards type of just one-to-one talk, a little bit about myself. Oh my gosh, what a beautiful day. You like my hat? This was gifted me by a Goth brother. I love it. Now, this is the 1880s Wild Wild West style Victorian Goth. The short ones. I like this one. These came about 1880s styles. But yeah, I've enjoyed wearing this one. It was I had it on the airplane when I was flying in to the United States, and I just wanted to make sure it got here in one piece and it wasn't crushed. But it came back beautifully in my suitcase. And I brought my whole arsenal of rings, but they're inside the house. So I'm just wearing 4 of them today. Let me start off a little bit about myself, who I am, where I am, and all the other good stuff. Off the cuff, and I'm 52 years old, as I've often shared before, but I am also a professor, as you all know, and I teach at a university, and it's a medical school. So I am surrounded by skeletons, things in glass bottles, the human body, anything to do with EMTs, where you have these plastic things that they blow in and they pressurize them and try to resuscitate the bodies. Dental records, pathology, that's a lot of things to do with dead stuff. And I work in the liberal arts department. So I work in one of the most best parts of the university, but it's a medical school. So everything in the school has to deal with the human body. It's like, basically it's from the cradle to the grave. So we have kindergarten, we're teaching young people to be kindergarten teachers, or we say early childhood education, all the way over here to the most amazing part, which I really, really hope to do a completely new video on for all my Goth brothers and sisters who really like really, really morbid stuff, the funeral department. And we have got, and I'm not joking about this, these dolls at our school where they are 2 heads hooked together. Like, if you're into Siamese twins, like I am, they're cranial Siamese twins. 2 faces are like a face this way and a face this way, and the 2 heads are fused together. Basically, these are used to apply makeup to the deceased. They're training dolls, and each table has one. So one student can work on this side and another student can work on this side, and they both can talk to each other while they apply the makeup. So it is a phenomenal thing that I've never seen before. I was down in the funeral department. I wanted to film all the caskets, all of the candles, the ceremonial stuff that they do, the burial stuff. They deal with all types of religions, from Christian to Buddhist to what do they call that? Any type of yeah, all of that. And I wanted to make a very special video which I can actually show the department, and I would like to show the department at night. They'd probably say, "Professor, how can you get on a university at night?" I have access because my office is in the same building as the funeral department, and all I need to do is go down there after hours, and I can actually make a really cool video. But being a university professor, I've been doing this for 18 years. I've been teaching, oh my gosh, been about 30,000 students I've had. And everything from basic literature, all the way grammar, and I got an ant crawling on my foot, to complex stuff like American idioms, which is the way the Americans speak. We say raining cats and dogs. Perfect timing. If you've not seen my other videos, in my parents' backyards, they've got ravens. They've got actual ravens, which I photographed. And these cosmic things back here. But the house over here behind me is 196 years old. And I've inherited this beautiful house, which was once a church. And life is good. Thank you. I hope this bird does a lot more of that during this video. It just adds to the personification. Where was I? But anyways, I inherited this beautiful 196-year-old home, which I'll put a picture of up here. This is what I've inherited. And but someday I'll be living back in New England, and hopefully another teaching job will come up. But back to my university that I teach at. Yeah, I also teach photography. Bet you didn't know that. Yeah, I have a 4-year degree, actually a 5-year degree in design, and I took photography courses. I went to one of the best art schools in the nation, but I'm not going to tell you which one because I think I want them to recognize me first before I start advertising which university I've gone to. But would I recommend the university that I went to as an artist? Highly. They broke you down. You think that you're an artist, but then you go there and they break you down and they start you off from ground level, and you start, they reprogram you, so to speak, to know what art really is. Yeah. When you talk about art history and other materials, it's not a hodgepodge school. It's based on the German philosophy of Bauhaus and the foundation courses that one would have to take in order to become an artist and what it takes to be an artist. And that's how I got into the alternative scene. And basically, I knew when I was really, there's a dragonfly flying over my, hey! I knew when I was younger that I was into the alternative scene, and I was going to be in the alternative scene. So I went to a high school where there was some alternative students, and then as long as you kind of like wear black and listen to heavy metal, you were accepted. But my pale white skin, I have absolutely no tattoos on my body whatsoever. All my friends have tattoos now. In the alternative scene, I don't know why, a lot of the people had tattoos on their necks, and you see tattoos everywhere. I can't get one. I change my mind too frequently, and there's outside of goth music and alternative music, I don't remember her name. I think it's Katy Perry. She wrote a song, and the line of the song went, "You change your mind like a girl changes clothes." I do. I changed my mind like that. So I was like, put a tattoo on, gotta take it off. You know, I was like, oh, I don't want that. Actually, I had my goth brother Tommy. He has some tattoos on him, but I was originally going to get an ankh on my body. If you don't know what an ankh is, it's called the Egyptian symbol of life, but I could never, how do you say, find the right one. I was like, and it had to be Victorian, it had to be extremely ornate, it had to have all of these qualities to it, blah, 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 and I never got, just never got around to it. But I'm kind of happy too that I have a blank canvas, because I can pretend, or give me one of those sticker ones. How interesting is that? So I went to design school, and I benefited from going to design school because I used that design materials, because when I went to my university, they said, you have 2 degrees, and I said, yes, I have a master's degree in English. And they also said, you have another degree. Yeah, I have a 5-year degree in design. Well, right away, my university wanted to utilize me, and so I teach English courses, and I also teach photography courses, and I've done other things. I did art history before that, and other things. So that basically gives you a little bit about my background. I love my job. I absolutely love being a college professor. If any of you are out there who are looking for a job in the future, and you want to or if you're interested in becoming a teacher, I highly recommend it. If you are looking for something that is extremely satisfying, a very extremely satisfying job where you're giving to young people something, and it's fulfilling. It's very, very, very fulfilling. That's something I should share with you. Students, where students sit, has a major impact on their learning abilities, and we know, this is a little, I don't want to say a secret, but professors who let the students sit wherever they want to sit, we know already, prior to even producing report cards, who's going to get A's, who's going to get B's, C's, and D's, and F's. The students that sit closest to the professor are engaged with the class subject matter. They are the ones that are very interested. They want to come close. They will watch you. They follow you with your eyes, and when you talk, they're the ones that have the questions, and so on and so forth. The further back the students sit, there will be B's and C's and D's, and if you are sitting in the back of the room, there's a high chance that you are not interested in the subject matter. Just to let you know. So I already know what the grades are going to be before even the semester is done. Because I look at the students, I'm like, okay, all you are at the front of the class over here, you're sitting closest to me, you will get your high points. Not always, but I'm very, 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 in my 18 years of teaching as a university professor, I've noticed that the closer the students sit to me, they are more engaged. And I do practice corporate goth, mind you. I do dress in my finest wear. You've seen this program now for quite some time. You know how I dress, and I practice. Look at that little guy flapping. Don't you love moths? They're night butterflies. Fantastic. They yes, in my classroom I'll come dressed. I especially like teaching in winter because I can overdress. I layer up the clothing. Now, if you haven't seen my videos on corporate goth and corporate goth wear, please scroll down, check out any of my 50 plus videos. You'll find something that is inspirational there for your well-being. Oh, that's good. I'm not even going to tell you what I'm drinking. You can just imagine. This is fun. I'm just talking. How intriguing. In front of me is my mother's herb garden. This herb garden was started when I was about, oh my gosh, maybe between 8 and 10 years old. And it had boasted herbs that I had never, like never dreamed of even what would they use these things for. My mom had a friend who lived up the road, and she was into herbalism, and then of course I too joined the Herb Society of America. It was called the AHS, American Herb Society. I was a member of that, and then it's all about education. So if any of my brothers and sisters are out there are interested in plants, oh, and by the way, if you saw my Ungoth Confessions video, I actually said that I have a incredible background in horticulture and agriculture and floriculture. So if you ever have a plant question, ask away. But in this herb garden in front of me was, oh my gosh, a host of herbs. I remember that we had wolf's vein, we had tansy, boneset, black kuhash, blue kuhash. The only really bizarre herb that this garden didn't boast was mandrake. And I guess it was just very special conditions. You have to grow mandrake. And then we have a very unique shed, or I don't know what you want to call it, because it's attached to our house, that all of these herbs were dried in. And I would, with Mom, we would partake and enjoy herbs from the garden. And yeah, I have a background. If anyone wants to talk with me, you can talk it up with me on the background. But yeah, I'm happy to share these things, because I'm hoping to find other Goths with similar interests as I am. I was in Salem, Massachusetts some years back. I had a Goth sister who lived there, and we went from shop to shop and stuff, and there was an herbology shop there that sold basically everything that we had in our backyard. And I got into the shop, and I was explaining what they had behind the counter, all the glass jars, and then the girl says, "Do you know the uses?" And I said, "Yeah, I can tell you what some of this stuff does," and love it. But right now, where I reside, I don't have the luxury of having an herb garden. And when I come back down to earth, so to speak, in the future, I will take my mom's herb garden here and I will expand it to my wildest imagination and fantasies. I will have everything that I've ever wanted to put in there. So, going back to my Goth sister, I mentioned her in one of my videos when I was putting on my black lipstick on Elder Goth, putting on the face. Her name is Mary Joan, and I opened the lipstick and I put the lipstick on and I said, "This is for you, sister." And I put the lipstick on, but she was the one who invited me to come out to stay in Salem, and I spent the night there. In the morning we went to all the cemeteries and looked at where all the people who were convicted as witches were around the town common. It's changed a lot since I was there, because I was there when I was in high school. And then there's the museum. There's a beautiful museum of the Salem witch trials, in which you go in, and they had all of these rooms. And the first one is this huge glowing circle that you kind of stand around, and they explain where all the pandemonium started, and how, because of all of this cross-cultural thing with religion and stuff, and then children's minds running wild and fantasies, and something about a servant that they had. And in the museum itself, I met this lady, and I think it was the 6th or 7th or something like that. The lady was the tour guide, and she says, we went from posts from different stations throughout the museum. We got this one where there was a man laying down. I have a recreation of a man laying down, and there's a board on his chest, and there's a giant rock. These people are putting rocks on his chest. And she stops and she says, I'd like to share with you, everyone, that this is my favorite display. She says, because I am the great granddaughter of this man who's being crushed. Wow, that was an intriguing part of the tour. I wonder if she's still working there. It was kind of quite a few years ago, but could you imagine actually working for a museum and having an actual family member being a part of the museum as part of one of the displays? Do you love museums as much as I do? I love museums. I absolutely love museums. Ripley's Believe It or Not museums, Guinness Book of World Records museums, that kind of showcases some of the strange and unusual stuff in the world. I have a profound love of sideshow things, carnivals, the dark circus. I did a whole video, if you check down below, I did a whole video on the dark circus. We have it in our Goth community, a very, very intimate, very select group of Goth brothers and sisters who are into the world of dark circus. Madam Absence has a friend, I guess he's got one arm or something. I guess he goes by the name of like One Arm Bob. I think that's his name. But he can fire blow from his mouth. He can put this with the fire that comes like that. He can blow fire like out of his mouth and stuff. But he would be a caliber for the dark circus. The dark circus is a circus that's at night, that's not brightly lit, that showcases, well, use your imagination, just a bit of darkness. It's a lot of sideshows, a lot of like freak show type of oddities and wonders, and a bit of mysticism twisted in. And they even have their own dress code. A lot of them wear, like the girls wear the Alice in Wonderland stripy tights. The men wear the Harlequin masks, or the makeup that is Harlequin. Sword throwers, fire breathers, performers. It's a very unusual world, and I've come across several of them. There's a large amount of them in Canada. Who would have ever thought that? But yeah, I've come across Goth brothers and sisters who are into the dark circus. So you don't know much about it? Check it out. It's out there. The truth is out there. These are just things I like. I am enjoying myself talking, sharing a little bit about my life. I've never done a video like this before, where I just talk, which is very, very, I say, makes you feel. Well, with that being said, I hope that you'd enjoy this off-the-cuff talk with the professor. In my luxurious backyard du jour, I'm sitting in an L&L Bean chair. If you know anything about L&L Bean, they're from Maine. Don't know anything about L&L Bean? Look them up. Okay, with that being said, I hope you've enjoyed this talk. And with that being said, always, and I want to give a very special thank you to the Darkling Jelly Bean for inspiring me to just probably do part 1, maybe part 2 or part 3 of an open talk with the professor. Gothically yours, Professor M.